Hi, my name is Charley Pietersen, the founder and CEO of the Growing Up Without a Father Foundation and the author of the book Growing Up Without a Father. I'm just going to mention two books that are really playing a key role, Growing Up Without a Father and Boy Child You Matter. So I'm running a foundation, and I believe that boy children and men matters.
Yeah. You said the work you do, is a calling.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit, how come it's a calling for you?
Thabang, I'm from the corporate world. If you look at my CV, if you look at my background, you'll find out somebody like me is supposed to sit in one of the big corporates, earning a lot of money with aircon, putting a mask on now because everything is coronavirus nowadays. But God spoke to me, He took me from a high place to a low place, because sometimes most of us are talking about pain and we really never went through pain. You talk about your car don't have petrol and you rely on faith. So God took me from I had a lot to actually having nothing, really to find myself as a person from that bottom rock place. Who am I? What plans are there for me? Because He came and said, because I grew up without a father, that's why the book Growing Up Without a Father. So it was in a church service on a Father's Day where He said to me, I want you to write a book to share about your testimony, to uplift fatherless kids, to tell them that, if I, God the Father, is your father, you can make it without a father.
And it's just talking about that, yes. The wounds that you carry, that men carry, yes. What have you picked up, this thing of not having a father?
It's having a huge impact because it starts from birth. Actually, kids that grew up without a father are being rejected in the womb of the mother. If the father decides that he's gonna disappear, then what's happening with that little baby inside the mother? Already that baby experienced rejection. Either this girl is pregnant and the boy ran away, and the parents really didn't like that boy who impregnated their daughter. The rejection for that little one inside the womb of the mother started there. Did I make a mistake? Do I really want this kid? Must I terminate this kid? Forgetting that seeds and what you're saying already, that little one is aware of that. So coming out into this world, you are already -0. You are already rejected. So that's where the pain started actually. And if you don't have a strong mother or strong structure, then things are already going wrong from birth.
And maybe if you continue the story, then after birth, what's the journey of somebody who doesn't have a father is like, to just tell that story? So your mom rejected you,
yeah.
Then what?
Then you'll always find out, Thabang, that in the beginning, no one wants you. But when you are born, suddenly you grandpa and grandma's favorite and mommy's favorite, but forgetting that they were rejecting you in the womb. And their society now, society can be very cruel. That boy or that girl is going to school. Already in the school system, you'll find out, please bring your father and your mother to school, please, that. Then you find out, no man, it's always me and my mom. Already that thing happened there. And you'll also see when the bullies are coming and everything, that I'm going to call my father. And who are you calling? You're going to call your mother. Look at him, you are starting to become a laughingstock from that, from birth and from the years that you are growing.
And so that would be sort of your primary, then say when you get to high school, do you have an example of how that would affect somebody?
Yes, a lot, because now you're meeting all this, I was in the hostel, all these characters. Now suddenly this one is telling you, for you to date, you need to sleep with so many girls. For you to do this, you need to do things like this. Some things or things that the father was opposed, to take a child or the boy or the girl through and say, this is the dangers of life. This is the great things in life. And a father is an example for the children on how a man or a father needs to be. If you find your father is there, because you also find the present absent fathers that are in the house, but they are also not there. And the kid will think that, okay, this is how life is going to be. Look at all the great fathers, or let's not say great, look at all the great role models. Kids mirror what their fathers and their mothers are doing.
And what about then when you become a man? Do you think this thing of not having a father impacts people or not really?
It do, Thabang, because God created us to be a balance. God created us to have a father and a mother. Okay, circumstances happen that, you know, father died at the age when he was small and everything. Because in life you can feel that unbalanced in your life, you know, the teasing and all those things. Because I have decided in my book, Growing Up Without a Father, that at the age of 21, I need to go and look up for my father. Not saying that I need him, but I need to find out where do I come from. Closure, identity, because you're sitting with identity problem as a child if you don't have parents. And let me tell you, I disagree with people that are saying your grandfather and your grandmother is your father. It's not like that. I had good great-grandparents, but they couldn't close that gap. You know, when you sit alone and, you know, after school and see that that father was there at the soccer field. Thabo's father was at the soccer field, and Thabo's father was screaming for him. And here am I, good player, there was no one to scream, you know, for me or to encourage me. So for me, when I met him, Thabang, it was like a shock. He didn't even recognize me. So my plea also to fathers that are just fathering kids, you know, like being sperm donors and everything, is that you don't know what you're doing, you don't know what you're creating. Out of that, not all of them are becoming like Charley, you know, following your mother, there's a praying woman. Others become gangsters because they go to gangsters for love and affirmation. Others use substances because they are being told that this is how a man needs to be. So for me, the biggest shock was this guy didn't even recognize me. And when I asked him, how many of us are there outside? He said, there's a few of you. So it means that he fathered more than one. So I'm having a lot of brothers and sisters running around and we are not even aware of one another.
And before you met him, were you angry? What did you imagine meeting him would be like, and what was it like when you met him?
Look, I was a very angry child. And also, as a child growing up, you know, looking at different fathers, you try to have your own father and said, no man, I'm going to picture him being this great guy, this Superman, this Spider-Man and everything. And when I met him, you know, it was like a question of, really was this the right choice for me to make? Because this guy is going to become my responsibility. Because he was sickly. He was a shadow of the person that I thought he will be.
And what about the stories you were told by him? I mean, did you, because a lot of people fight with their moms and their grandparents, and they start saying, I want to look for this person. And they start asking stuff like that. So what were you told about him?
I was told that he was a very good man. He was a great man, he was a gentleman, always a gentleman and everything. That's why maybe my mother fell in love with him. And when I met him, and even the people around the area where he was said, no man, what a great person. Your father is a great person. But when I met the guy, the man was a shadow of what people said about him.
I see. Okay, so I suppose they came with some disappointment.
Yes.
Because, yeah, explain the disappointment.
The disappointment was, hey man, this guy, instead of him being now somebody that will help me to go to the next level, I was the one that needs to help him to go to his next level. He became my responsibility. And I decided, you know, as a young man, I was 21, and said, either I can hate this man and walk away. But I said to myself, what will that bring, you know, to me if I hate and reject this guy? So immediately it's like, you know, God said, no man, you have to forgive him. Because I realized that he kept me prison for most of my years. So actually seeing him was actually me coming out of prison and said, now I can live my life. I can close that chapter. I know where he is, I know who he is, and I'm fine. and I'm fine who I am. Because I always tell, you know, when I do my motivational talks to kids that you are not your father and your father is not you. Find out who are you actually.
And then, I mean, so listen to that. But what does then a father give you? Like if somebody grows up with a good role model, what does a father do for a person?
A father gives that kind of protection, the love, the guidance. You feel, I see with my kids now, you know, is I need to go ask my dad for this, I need to go with my dad to this. And sometimes as fatherless kids, when we get into marriages, we want to overcompensate for what we never had, which is a big mistake. So I'm trying to be me in my marriage and being the father that I need to be for my kids, because I never had a mirror or a role model. And we make mistakes. Let me tell you, we make mistakes because we are all human beings. And this thing of there's bad men and good men, I don't believe in that. You choose what you want to become, Thabang.
Explain that a bit more.
If you want to be a bad father, it's a choice. If you want to be a good father, it's a choice. And you know, if you are exposed to great role models, because I decided that I'm going to look for a role model as a child. I'm going to mirror this uncle or this man, you know. I had role models in the banking world, I had role models in the soccer world, in church. So I looked for that specific person. And I mirrored that person without that person even knowing that I'm mirroring as a leader, because my greatest mentor and coach was a former owner of Bloemfontein Celtics and Tatemolemel. So, you know, we became so close that actually I thought that he was my father.
So I want to take you to the boy child. What are your general observations with what's happening with boy children lately?
Thabang, that's a lost generation. And you know, I'm doing a lot of work with boy children. The first thing is that they don't know who they are. And also because the lack of fathers in their lives also contribute to that. You know, I had sessions in KZN. The boy child in KZN is different than the boy child in Gauteng, different than the boy child in Western Cape or Free State. The boy child in KZN believes that a man is a man. You know, a woman cannot tell me anything. That's where we also, it also contributes to what gender-based violence, because of the way boys are raised. Immediately they are rejected. A lot of responsibilities are put on their shoulders. No, you have to because you are a boy. It's wrong. And if you look at our government now, a lot of programs is about the boy, the girl child. Bring a girl child to school, do this to a girl child, neglecting the boy child. And my thing is that if you neglect the boy child, who is supposed to marry that empowered girl child, there will be no balance in life. So we have to develop the girl and the boy child simultaneously.
Then you said the boy child in Durban is different. Can you, maybe some of the differences you notice, you can start by saying the boy child in Durban and...
Alright, what I picked up and observed is that the boy child in Durban is like a warrior. You only want to fight. You don't want to be told that, no, you have to help your sister with dishes and everything. And so, no, that's not my job. My job is to defend. And also, why must I help my sister? Then you come to the guys in Gauteng. The guys in Gauteng realize that, you know, I have to respect my sister and my mother and also protect them. So the KZN guy thinks that he's a warrior, he's a protector, forgetting that he also needs, you know, to care, to love and be loved. The same in the Western Cape, where you also find out that, very difficult in the Western Cape, Thabang, that they lean more to gangsters as their role models than to look up for their fathers. They will tell you straight, because I've seen that now my father is hopeless, but that guy, he's the guy. So this is the type of things that I picked up in my interventions with them.
And with men, what have you picked up as well when you interact with men and you tell them the story about you finding your father, you touch on forgiveness? What is it like if you go and you talk to men and they hear this and you encourage them to, I don't know, to fix, to go find that job? How do men respond to your message?
Thabang, men are very aloof, men are very closed, and men are suffering because of that. Also, the other side is pride. That who's Thabang? Why must I listen to him? You know, that's why I had a big conference. I think you were part of the conference where great guys came up and talk about their pain. So men don't want to talk about their pain. They want to keep it. They want to go into a man cave and say, no, I'll be fine. And that's why you'll see all these illnesses that men are getting suddenly, diabetes, high blood, heart attacks, is because they are bottling up. My thing is that men needs to be opened up and said, you know, I've got a problem. I need to consult. And you know, they don't want to consult psychologists and all those things. Is that you have to talk to someone. Others are coming from very troubled backgrounds, and they are taking their troubled backgrounds into their marriages. They don't want to talk. And you'll see that it's been proven that pain attracts pain. Love attracts love. You'll see most of us are getting married to the same person. And then suddenly both of you are sitting, you don't know how to solve problems. Because we don't want to learn and to say, no man, I've got a problem, I need to open up. So my plea to men is that, let's talk, let's have a group of 4 men, you know, be friends and chat. Thabang, how are you today? Are you well? How's work? How's the kids? How's the family? So that we can start opening up and talk to one another.
Why do you think men are afraid to talk though?
Upbringing, Thabang. You are a tiger. Men don't cry. Boys don't cry. And everything. And also, you know, men are afraid that if I tell you my weakness, then I'm finished. Because if I'm a CEO of a big company and I show that how powerful am I, but Thabang knows that, hey, the weak point of that guy is 1, 2, and 3. And other men also, you know, when I if they come and consult me about certain things, I also picked up that their pain becomes their enemy, because I'm sharing with Thabang that, hey man, I'm having a problem with my wife in bed. So Thabang is taking all my challenges and is turning it around to his benefit. And that's why Thabang will become a hero in the eyes of my wife, using my weaknesses. I think this is where men are scared to chat to one another, because we always said women gossip, but I promise you men gossip more than women.